Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated pinch me. I think I'm dreaming. I'm talking to the north side. We knew him as the guy that resembled Georgie best, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're on the north side, you know him as Fran Lemons. Hey, Fran, how you doing?
All right. Well, thanks for the introduction.
Oh yeah, I mean, you had everything but the English accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and just to give everybody a little intro, close, very close, being a national champion over at SPN forever, St. Philip Neri.
Yeah.
But he won a city championship by going down across the boundaries to Nativity. He won.
Yeah, that's right. 1969, actually.
I'll be damned. You and Denny Kiley.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure was.
Yeah. And then you were a guy, I think you might have stopped in for a minute at McBride and then went to Prep North.
No, I didn't go to. I went to Prep North all 4 years.
All 4 years. Okay. So, on a full disclosure, were you going to go to the seminary?
Yeah, it was a prep seminary for 4 years, and then I decided not to go that route, and I ended up going to Flo Valley from there.
Wow. I mean, man, you were serious about it. I told a gal I was going into seminary, and I just needed a kiss before I go if it was going to be. That's a long story. So here it is. We avoided the draft, and then you went to Florissant Valley and the national championship there.
Yeah, in 1973, won the national championship there with great team there, great coach, of course. Good time. I missed them. Surrounded by a lot of great players.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Was it the rumor true you scored the winning goal?
I did in the 1973 Nationals down in Miami-Dade.
You like this?
Seven overtimes, and we were beat.
7 overtimes.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Without a cigarette?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That was before they, had penalty kicks, which I'm glad they didn't. And it's funny you say that because I was listening to Smallwood's last night when you interviewed him, and he had mentioned about penalty kicks, and I agree with him. I still wish they didn't do that. Let the better team win. When it's still standing at the end, that's when we win.
Wow. And did you, seesaw it with every type of PK? The old NASL, they had that, 30-yard run.
Yeah, I don't like that. I play the game till the end, So,
Okay.
That's how I am with it. I'm old school, man.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. That there was no, hey, we'll start over tomorrow. No, nothing. There's a winner and a loser over here. There's no loser. You played a hell of a game, but
I remember in the airport, Miami Airport, we were trying to catch our flight. We're all in the bathrooms and splashing water out of the sinks on us and trying to at least clean up a little bit before you get on a plane.
Wow, wow. And then you found your way back there to play for South Florida.
Yeah, I got offered to go down there and play scholarship, and went down there with a bunch of great players, and we had a lot of great players from St. Louis on that team as well.
Yeah.
So,
I heard you were a roommate with Tim Pendergast?
No, not with Tim. I was there with Kevin Egan and Pete Mormon and Fred Sikorsky. I don't know if you know, they're from the South Side, except for Kevin Egan, who Kevin is.
Yeah, I
And,
knew. Yeah, I knew those guys.
yeah, when I first went down there, I was in my junior year, didn't really know anybody. Knew a few of the players, and then so I.
Dave Dolphus had already left.
Yeah, he did a year before I came down. Yeah, so Dolphus and we had I think my first year. Yeah, we had Mike Knott and we had two guys from Ireland on the team. We had a really good team. And St. Louis U came down and played us. We played them there once, and then we came up St. Louis and played them there. And that was always a pretty good rivalry because it's like a lot of St. Louis against St. Louis,
Yeah.
So, all the guys that we've all played with or against growing up, now we're in the big stage,
Yeah.
So,
Did Mike Knott, did he bring his tassels with him?
no, yeah. Yeah. Good old
When you're the only one, you stick out. Not.
Yeah.
That was beautiful stuff, man.
What a striker he was, man. I love giving him the ball, man.
Yeah, baby.
I knew something was going to happen if he got it.
You know it. It was always, that gasp. So you're there, and I guess you always was at Clemson at the time that would always end the season, or how'd you usually end the season?
I'm trying to remember who we would usually. We did play Clemson, but I don't think that was our last game of the season. I want to say we played like Florida International or somebody like that.
Okay. I was, talking about regionals, the NCAAs.
We never made. Well, we were in the Southeast Conference down there. We never made any of the finals or anything in South Florida. So.
No way.
Yeah, we won a lot of local SEs, like the Southeast tournaments and things like that. But that's as far as we ever really got down there.
I'll be damned.
Which is surprising because we had good teams both years I was down there.
Absolutely, you did.
And but yeah, it was good though. It's a good experience and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's one thing that anybody and everybody who saw you play, they said, "Man, I wish I had as much fun as Fran Lemons." I mean, you were always on great teams, always had the nice uniforms, jackets, blah, 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 blah. And you had fun going to the match at warm-ups, during the game, after the game. You were, you enjoyed the beautiful game, didn't you, bro?
Oh, I did, and with that said, I played the game because I liked playing. I liked playing. And then, like when I got drafted to Memphis, I would have done it for free. You know what I'm saying? Because I just like playing the game, So, yeah, and then you have fun. You got to have fun when you're doing it. If you don't, then you don't belong. My dad always told me, if you're not having fun anymore, then you don't belong there.
Yeah, it really means something, don't it?
Yeah.
And, man. So the operation handles is that people are, well, where's Fran? Down in Florida. And then the next thing we know, you're in Memphis with the Rogues.
Right.
Rogues, huh?
Yeah, Memphis Rogues, yeah.
Yeah. And you're playing in there, man. How was that all about? I guess you played at the Liberty Bowl?
Yeah, we did. Liberty Bowl was our home stadium. And I was there for a short time. I played, I think I played 3 or 4 exhibition games, and then our first league match was against Tampa Bay Rowdies down in Tampa Stadium. So that was pretty exciting because that's where I went to school at. So kind of had a following there, but unfortunately, I didn't get to play that game. That was, I was pretty new to the NASL, so starting over again, right?
Yeah.
And then Kevin Egan was on the other side. He played for the Rowdies. Then he'd already been there a year, so but yeah, that was. We got to work out with the Rowdies a lot when we were in South Florida with the Derek Smethurst and Rodney Marsh and some of those guys.
There you
Uh,
go.
Yeah, always had some good coaching and surrounded by good people and people that are very knowledgeable about the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, it was a tough way for an American player to get into the starting lineup or to get some quality minutes. It was just like a mountain.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think at the time they were required to have 6 Americans on the team. They made some rule like that, and I remember, and if I remember right, many years before that, I remember Danny Counts was quoted in, I can't remember the magazine now, soccer magazine maybe, about the NASL stood for Non-American Soccer League. So
Way to go, Danny.
yeah, and yeah, and
He's whale certified.
yeah, I know. I heard him last night actually. I
Yeah.
tried to get in touch with him out in Colorado because I lived out there for a while, and I tried to because I think he was coaching or general manager of the Colorado team out there, and I never did. That was never going to get a hold of him. So. But, yeah, Danny played. I played with Danny at because I was younger, but we played as Big Four together.
Wow.
That was a Dave Berwin team.
Yeah,
So,
it was. Yeah, it was.
and there's some talent there on that team. Man,
Woo, man.
you know, uh, playing with good players like that's what makes you better. You know, and I'm always humbled, and I travel around the country, live in different places, or just traveling on business and get talking to people about soccer or just in neighborhood. I brag about St. Louis players. Uh, I don't care where you're at in St. Louis. All the players were good in all north, south,
Yeah,
east, west. Um, Everybody had good teams. Everybody was good players,
yeah.
and I'm always proud of that heritage that we have for soccer in St. Louis, and I admire all those guys.
Yeah, and if they weren't on the team, go by a concrete or asphalt schoolyard and you'll find some players.
Right. That was our first stadium, right? Was the schoolyard. That was
Yeah, yeah.
our first stage, and that was pretty cool too because I know in St. Philip playing in the schoolyard there, you got to play with the older guys, and they let you play as long as you can hold your own. They let you play, and you learn from them too. They didn't dish you or anything like that. They help you.
Yeah,
Like the Joey Hams and the Altros and all those guys that
yeah,
you know what a great bunch of people to be around. And Al coached us for a while. Al and Doug Brooks, Daryl Brooks, Daryl Smith. I'm sorry.
wow.
Al Trost and Daryl Smith coached us. I can't remember what team that was though. But the last game I remember playing with them was at Fairgrounds Park. Snow and ice blowing,
Yep, yeah,
and it was cold.
yeah.
But you played and you made it work. So way to go.
Well, you're the first one, Fran Lemons. The Lifetime Achievement Award for the Whale Certified, baby.
I did.
I got you in, baby. Lifetime achievement. You were the guy, man, up north. I mean, you kind of like you didn't have parish boundaries. It was nice to be able to chat with you back and forth, and you wouldn't let us forget that you played for St. Philip Neri, but it was a nice little border. And after you came back from Memphis for a couple of years, we were teammates together on a White Star team.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and I'm guarantee, man, when the Whale picked up the ball and he handed his hand, I said, is the man Fran Lemons on my left or is he on my right? Because you were on the wing, and I could guarantee I could throw it out to you, and you wouldn't lose it. You know,
Thank you.
yeah, you never had wooden shoes. You always had nice soft leather shoes, and you could settle the ball nicely and everything. You know, and you know how you elevator pass or you elevator settle, the ball goes up in the air and everything.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. The first pair of good soccer shoes I got was from Don Cerisi. Uh,
Oh,
we played for him, and he always offered anybody that could juggle the ball the length of the field. You got one try every practice, and if you did it, he would buy you a pair of shoes. And I did it one evening after practice, and he bought me a pair of shoes over at over at Russell's. Remember
wow.
Spanish Lake out there?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was I always remember that. And then when I was coaching high school here, and I did the same thing with my team. You know, I passed it on. If everybody could juggle it, I'll buy them a pair of shoes. You know, but nobody ever did it.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but I would have done it. You know, Wells, there was something I remember. You and I, we played against each other down at Crondelet one night, and I was told about you. You gave me my first real soccer injury that night when somebody chipped the ball over, and I was running through the middle. And as I was volleying it out of the air, you caught my foot and the ball at the same time, and my body kept going.
Yeah.
And you tore my ankle up. It was down at Crondelet Park.
You haven't made me forget that time. I mean, it's like a happy anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the situation, it was a great play on both of our parts. But
Yeah.
I mean to tell you, when you were down on the ground, people came over to get you, and they were, if not, you know, stairs were knives. I would have been stabbed 110 times.
Oh, man. That was just part of the game, you know. It's the way it goes.
Yeah. And I'll guarantee you, under full disclosure, what I remember is that it was just a magnificent play from the team you were playing on it. And it was Big Four or 7-Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that might have been a 7-Up game team.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, just magnificent how it was the rainy type of night through the lights of the bowl down there at Crownlet Park with the fog. And it was just a beautiful cross that came over, but it would loft up a little bit so that I could come out and get it. And as I'm coming out and get it, and I'm seeing you lining up like you're Georgie Best, man, and you got up, you were going to do, you know, a Georgie Best Pele, and boom, I said, dive, and I just ran and dove out to get in the ball line of your, and I didn't notice that your foot was behind the ball.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I always had a great respect for it. I always said I'd rather be on your team than against you. You know?
But it could have looked from the sidelines that I got the ball in your ankle and your foot, and I twisted it around a couple times. I don't think I did that.
No, I think my body did it because my body was still going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do it. It just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But oh boy, man. But those days, geez, I mean, it's just the overall magnificence of that soccer. And it carried on into the late 30s for players closer to their 40s.
Yeah. I didn't go that far. Well, I was playing indoor a lot. Probably in my 30s, I was playing a lot of Twelmans and
Yeah.
Bellwood and
Yeah.
all the other ones that were around, you know.
Yeah, same here. When the deal came as, I got like a permanent job type of thing, They said, hey, you got to work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, Jesus,
Yeah.
that's not PLAY. And okay, so work, you can't be messing up.
No, I remember Denny Kiley and I would sit out at Twelman's, and after we had our own match, and then we'd sit there, have a couple of beers or whatever, waiting, and somebody would be short a player, and they'd come in, hey, when you guys want to play? Yeah, we'll play. So we go back out and play, maybe get two more games in under our belt.
Right, yeah. Uh, I had a story, a couple years of absence somewhere, is that I replayed, I went back in to play, and my first game and my first opportunity for goalkeeping technique, the guy toed it and hits me right in the nose. And my fight or flee moment, I went out after the guy. Why are you talking to your toe in the ball? And so my schnozola was, Jimmy Durante, and the guy says, "Hey man, you got to learn to put your hands in front of your face." So
Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah, that was that. Yeah. So if you look over back in those years and everything, if and we came after, like a big St. Louis Renaissance where every team won a national championship of some sort. And, and they were the young Americans. And you were right there in the belly. Say, for instance, if a game would have went just a little bit your way and everything, would you think that, Fran Lemons could be in the same shiny light as a Pat McBride or an Altros?
Oh, no, you can. Those guys, they were on a pedestal for me. Those guys just were at another level. And not only were they great players, they were great people.
Yeah.
And I always respected those guys, and anything that they or anything that I accomplished or did, I gave a lot of credit to all those guys. I mean, that's where we learned it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Those guys, I mean, to a person, everybody said, man, wow. And they said, hey, don't talk about me. They were very, very humble.
yeah, yes,
Yeah. And they just really loved the game. And they spent more time off the pitch practicing soccer than they did playing on the pitch.
right, right. And that's what it takes. I mean, to make the accomplishments that a lot of these players made, um, we lived and breathed it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. You get done with practice and then you go home and you start kicking again in your yard or something. It's
Right.
like, you didn't put the ball down. So, but
Yeah.
and that's the way it was. But you liked it. You loved it.
Yeah. People talk about Altros in Delwood running the hills, and it wasn't a jog; it was a full-fledged
Yeah,
sprint. And you seen them
yeah.
and then around 30 minutes later, you see him again. He's still sprinting, and
Oh,
yeah, and
yeah.
they talked about that about Pat McBride. He would put his socks around his ankles and just keep on running, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, I used to wear my socks around my ankles all the time, and I think that's where I picked it up from was Pat.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't wear shin guards. I like to have my socks down.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that if you're holding the ball too long, you get smashed. But those guys, they never had to be a pansy about nothing, man. They played hardball, but they got off the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah. Well, you learn after you get racked a few times.
Okay.
If I get rid of the ball, it won't happen.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's why you got 10 other people with you. Use them.
Yeah. How about that? I, a fella that we know, he said, I said, hey, man, that was a great team. The problem was there was only one ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was Mr. Donovan one time. We tried to go through somebody instead of passing it, and do a give and go or whatever. And he told the other, he took the ball and he started hitting you with it in your chest and your legs. He said, "See, that ball doesn't go through anyone. So go pass it around them,
Wow.
Mr. Donovan was classic, man. He was great.
Oh, man. Jack and Tom. What? Jack and, oh, for God's sakes. Yeah, Jack and Tom.
Yeah.
Jack and Tom Donovan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I talked to Tom. It's probably been a couple of years now. I got his number from somebody. I called him for a little bit, but I know Phil and a lot of those guys see him. If I lived in St. Louis, I'd probably see a lot of those people too. But I've lived away from there for quite a while now.
Yeah.
But I still stay in touch with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with Facebook and all that, you can make all those connections.
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got with this, it was, talking, but to get the interesting stories, become a podcaster. It was like 2 turntables and a microphone,
Right.
you get a little, 2 microphones and a little device and press the buttons and you're on the way, baby. Yeah. So I have over 300 plus episodes, and I still haven't been able to pronunciate any really, hard words, and nor everybody says, "Would you finish this sentence?" I can't. It's either I'm grasping for air or my thought left me, and oh my God! So, but they say it's genuine stuff, and that's one thing we learned, I believe, up on the north side, is on Harney Avenue, coming up from St. Philip Neri, coming down to the Tivity on Gilmore, and is that you had to be genuine.
Yeah.
And all the players that, the Boslets, Chuck Boslet, Pete Galico, Jay Kiley, those guys.
Harris, Denny Harris and Joey Harris.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they were like almost like county guys that came back into the city. Joe, I don't really remember those guys,
Yeah, Joe, the Harrises grew up in St. Philip there, right? And then, matter of fact, Joe played on Flo Valley year.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Petcher.
Yeah. That's right.
We got all American mentions that year.
Yeah.
Flo Valley. So, but Joe Harris was a good player, man. I liked playing with him. Yeah.
But like 1 year, you know everybody, you see everybody, and then the next year you don't. Is that those your Phillip guys? There was just a handful of guys, and all the others didn't know him. His nickname Joe Sadobi, I think.
Yeah, Minga. Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike Smallwood. I what? And so those guys, they were. If you were a year older, there ain't no way this young whippersnapper's coming around you guys.
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't let me around. So it was always a funny business. How that all worked out, and the Flynn's. Where's the Flynn's at? You had to go to the show to see him play in the shadows.
Right. That's right. Yeah, the band, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because Danny, when the Flynns lived 2 blocks over from me. Uh, uh, Danny and I, well, Mr. Flynn, that was probably my first coach, was Mr. Flynn.
Is
So,
that right?
yeah, Penrose Park, we always practiced.
Oh yeah, man.
And
I,
it was,
that was my little Wembley Stadium. Is that little the lower bowl field at Penrose Park to play it in St. Philip Neri.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and I
Under, under
played.
the viaduct,
Yes, playing
yeah,
against the great Jack Donovan.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, and I learned the lesson of you better bring your some some money, or you better get your education with Pete Galico.
Yeah,
Yeah, the guy, he was, oh man, I don't know if he played cards like that, but man, he could really very deceptive.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He was really good hiding the ball and all that. He couldn't get him off the ball. He reminded me a lot of Danny Counts.
yeah.
Um,
There you go.
the way he played, he always resembled the way he held the ball, hid the
Yeah.
ball, and couldn't push him off it. So, but yeah, a
So
lot of
how about your backyard with the type of style of play with the soccer and how is it going with teams and so forth and so forth? Where you living at now in North Carolina? You ever see
uh,
any soccer?
oh yeah, uh, we do. The high schools, Jacksonville, North Carolina, is where we're at, and their high school team's very good. They got a pretty good coach there. Uh, the high school teams are pretty good. Um, Sometimes though, when I see them or whatever, I always say, if I could put that team against one of our teams, they wouldn't have a chance.
Uh,
So I don't think the skill level, they may have the skill, but I don't think the skill level has been refined.
and
And
man, they got this St. Louis University of our time down there with the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. Holy cow, man! You talking
yeah,
about some soccer history there, huh?
yeah, oh yeah. Uh, but yeah, the high school, sir, I coached varsity. I was assistant coach at varsity where my kids went to Christian Academy, and I helped coach the women's and the men's there. And I the coach there was learning the game, and I came along and then I was trying to after I got settled in, then I tried to coach the same way I was coached, run the same drills, teach the same things about hiding the ball and getting rid of the ball, and when do you hold it, when do you don't hold it, things like that. And even the training part, doing the sprints and the only thing that's flat out here, so we didn't have the like O'Fallon Park, we used to run the Soup Bowl, remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah, baby.
And we didn't have it there, but I tried to train and incorporate that the things that I learned. I was trying to give it back and feed it, to them. And some of those kids sometimes they get kind of cocky, and I said, "Hey, look." And my dad told me this a long time ago. He says, "I don't care how good you are or think you are, because there's always somebody else trying to take your job.
Yeah.
So better do your best and work hard at it to keep it." And that wasn't just on the field; it was in life. you know.
Yeah.
So and so it's kind of cool because I had one kid I ran into a few years ago and hadn't seen him in a while. He goes, and we were talking, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Lemons," he goes, "Yeah, I remember you told me. Do you remember that story when I told him that?" And he always, so he coaches now, and he uses that. I said, "That's all. Use it all you want, man. That's what it's there for." So
It's been a
yeah,
while but I have to go back to where Don Cerisi about his boots. Don Cerisi, I played for North City Gunners, and
Right.
I didn't have any boots, so I either had desert boots or some tennis shoes. And he
Right.
went, "What the?" And I said, "I don't have it." And so he gave me his boots to wear, and I mean to tell you, it was like Cinderella. I mean, the best boots ever. It was like, he marinated the leather with something, and he says, "Hey, take them off. You ain't going home with them." And oh man, I
That's
mean,
right. Well,
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. You know what? You said the name. I couldn't think of it earlier, but it's the North City Gunners.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. We played down. We used to practice down at Dwight Davis down in Baden. I think is where we used to practice
Wow,
there, and I think sometimes we practiced out Spanish Lake.
wow. So, hey, do you have the inside stories of Mike Houlihan?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a name I've heard in a long time.
Yeah,
He's
man.
a lot older than us, though.
Right. Yeah, but he was always giving back. I mean, he was like one of those guys, you say, you give back what you learn.
Right. Yeah.
Our coaches at the time, they were World War II veterans.
Yeah. So I remember him always going around working with the goalies.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he always did.
I mean, he was like one of the originals. And
Right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah, he was. Yeah, I don't know how much older he was than us, but he was. For me, I always looked at him like he was a man.
yeah, yeah,
an elder.
yeah, right. Yeah, he was a young. Yeah, he was a young man. The thing was, they played. They had the CYC All Stars,
Hmm.
and I'm looking for a team. How do I get about to be an all-star around here? Oh, they don't have them anymore. Oh,
Well, as I was concerned, everybody we played with or against were all stars.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Fran, do you get a chance to see the American game on TV and this and that?
You know what? I watch a little of it. I don't watch as much as I would like to watch, but the times I watch, I get kind of turned off by it. Just I think there's a lot of drama and theatrical. I don't know. I compare it to us, back in our day, and it doesn't. It's just not the same. I don't think it seems the same.
Yeah, yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, I can't imagine Bruce Wisman laying around the ground.
Right. Right. Yeah. Let's get up. You came to play. Get up and play.
Yeah, yeah. Face Murkowski would have kicked him in the shins. Get up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember, man. You bring Face Mikowski. He played on Big Four with us, but him and I played against each other at the Senior Bowl and
Wow.
Tangerine Bowl. And I remember he played for the West. I played for the East, and I went up for a head ball against him, and we collided heads. And the next thing I knew, man, I was on the bench. 'Cause, I remember laying on the ground. I was looking up at the stadium like it was a night game. And Pete Kalika was on that team, Faith, and yeah, I can't remember. I think maybe Ty Keel might have been on that team.
Wow.
But yeah, I remember looking up and the lights were like, zoom, waving, looking.
Oh, man. You can imagine the whale had a lot of concussions. Man, I guarantee.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very comfortable in a dark room, and people say, "What the hell are you doing?" Well, I didn't notice. Yeah.
Yeah, good old Face, man. He good guy, and bless his soul and rest in peace.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah, but
You
that was
know,
great.
I don't sound morbid or anything, but there was a lot of great players that passed on since we've been playing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
when we played, it seemed like life would go on forever.
right. Well, we lost some, like Denny Kiley and Jay Kiley and
Oh,
Paul Duger.
oh,
So those were three that were a bit close home to me, as I knew those guys for a long time.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Philip, you know, and played with them and against them. So
right,
those were kind of tough ones.
yeah,
But we don't pick our time. So
yeah. I just, I still jaw drop Denny Cody.
oh, and Denny,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, just all that type of stuff. And then the tragedy with Ricky Flynn down there at the
right,
Breast and Hands down there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Denny Cody, him and I used to play a lot down at the neighborhood house. Hot Spot. Um, we go in there, and it was a neighborhood house, or I think it was a neighborhood house. You go down there, and just a little gymnasium.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
four players in there, and you lock the doors and you stay in there. If you want to come out, you wait. You unlock the door, you go out, somebody else come in. But
Yeah.
it was like the death tag matches.
Oh yeah, yeah. They said you want to play gold. Well, so I said, you can't use your hands. I said, get going. I'm done.
Yeah, it's what your face is for. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. That was rough playing in that place because everybody was pretty rough in there. It wasn't for the weak.
No, man. No, no, no. So, my friend, is there something that I didn't hit up on that you wanted to say? What I usually say is, hey, Fran Lemons, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to, for as long as you want to say it for. This is your time, man.
Yeah. Well, and I've always, that's I think I mentioned earlier. All the players that played with, against, doesn't matter. Um, they made me who I was as a player and accomplishments. And I'm very proud of the heritage, like I said earlier, of the St. Louis soccer and the players. And not only is everybody good players, great players, uh, all those folks that you and I've talked about, and some with humble players off the field. And
Yes.
and and we all stayed friends, even though we went our separate ways for a while. When you go to this college, I go to that college, or whatever. Uh, but when you meet up somewhere, it's like you never lost a beat. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah.
you can sit at a bar, have a beer, and you're sitting there talking, and you bring up stories, and everybody knows, remembers, and you're not strangers. You never became strangers. Everybody still uh, stayed intact. So.
Yeah.
And I just think that's great. And there's people I've tell that to, and a lot of us have been friends since first, second grade. We were playing against each other in grade school or whatever. But um, they're hard to believe. People have a hard time believing that we've had friends for 60 years.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, and I just think that's a blessing. It is. I'm always proud of that. I can't say enough about it because glad I had that experience and glad that I grew up where I did and got to play the game that I did with the people that I did. So,
Right on, man.
God bless everybody, and I love everybody. So it was good.
Right
Good
on.
time. So,
Uh,
and Wells, it was good talking to you too, brother. I've not
yeah.
seen a long time, so
Yeah.
with the opportunity to chat with you.
Well, when I started with this monkey business, you were the first one I was thinking about interviewing, and that's why you get the Lifetime Achievement Award. You're the first one for Wales Certified.
I know. I watch your posts all the time. I just sit there watching it, and I sit there and just like shake my head because we go way back, Wales. And I was telling Ed today, and I talked to him. I said, "Yeah." I said, when I see those, I have a different perspective because I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's not just a voice that I know or a name. I know you. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I look at it at a different perspective and laugh.
yeah, man. Yeah.
And we've always had good laughs.
Oh, haven't we? I mean, good ones. Good ones. So, Fran, it's that time, 45 minutes. We got halftime, baby. We got to go in. So,
I'm winded.
yeah, we got to have a I don't smoke anymore, so no more cigarette puffing on the sidelines or nothing.
And that's like, yeah, I'll be 71 this year. I'm thinking, I didn't know the game was going to go this long.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
The best
All
to
right.
you, Fran, and yours.
All right.
Give
All right.
give
Thanks, Will.
everybody that you were a lifetime achievement award winner. Tell the family.
All right. We'll do.
All right,
Thanks, man.
man. Bye bye.